Good evening from Murphy's, California. And if you had never heard of Murphy's, California before seeing this video, don't worry, because I hadn't heard about it until a few nights ago when I was having dinner with a Mr. Robert Griffith and his lovely wife, Lois. And they were talking about places that I could visit on my trip here across the United States. And when I told them I was going up towards Yosemite and then perhaps I was going to find my way up towards Lake Tahoe, they said, well, you really got to stop in Murphy's. And Robert told me that they've got just a really charming main street, and that's where I find myself right now, on the main street here in Murphy's, California. It's not a very big town. Population, I think, is probably all of 3,000 or 4,000 people. But the town is quite historic, in addition to being quite charming. And I thought I would do a little walk and talk down the main street here, which shouldn't take me all that long, with the exception of stopping and seeing some of the historical buildings. Like just up ahead is the Murphy's Hotel, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Here is what is this? This is the E. Clampus Vitus. What mystery and magic and name recalls mystery as to its meaning, which is unknown. But anyway, here is a interesting building. You don't have to walk very far to see some interesting buildings in here. Here is, in fact, John Murphy, 1824 to 1892. Right there. He was the founder of Murphy's. John and brother Daniel set up trading post, hired Miwok Indians to mine gravel, and paid them in merchandise. Murphy's was first known as Murphy's Diggings, then Murphy's Camp, later just Murphy's. John Murphy left camp in December 1849 with $1.5 million in gold, returned to San Jose, married Virginia Reed of the Donner Party, and he served as the mayor of San Jose and sheriff of Santa Clara County. So there's your story of Murphy's and the origin. But the wall here has probably all types of different famous people that have come through or associated with Murphy's over the years. Carl Briggs, historian. And here is Emma Nevada, Nightingale of the Comstock. She sang for the Clampers and for Queen Victoria. Here's William Atkin, distinguished educator and historian. And here is indigent number 3. This indigent was witnessed by a group of clampers who had been drinking. So there you see a little drawing with the sign pointed to Murphy's. And I could probably spend a lot more time here looking at this wall, but I'm gonna continue on with the tour down Main Street here. This is the actually what I was just looking at. That is the Lampard Courtyard right here. Lampard Courtyard. It's a Friday evening as I'm walking down the street, and the restaurants are filled with various restaurants are filled. This is the Thompson Building, built soon after 1856 by John Thompson, operator of the lime kilns on Rocky Mill and Stone Mason. Quite a fascinating place, to say the very least. No shortage of nice restaurants to eat in. And just up here is the historic Murphy's Hotel. It's historic in that none other than Mark Twain stayed at this hotel. Mark Twain was one of the early early guests at the Murphy's Hotel rather. And there were some others, such as Ulysses S. Grant was a guest there at the hotel here in Murphy's. Probably had a drink or two in the saloon that's right here. And all the way when you're walking around Murphy's or Calaveras County, which is where I think we are, all around the different cities that I've visited, you'll see frogs such as the one in front of the general store right behind me. But there is Murphy's Hotel, saloon and restaurant. They've got a really nice patio out back. And if I do an about face, you'll see here is here's one of the frogs that you'll see all around this area here. I think made famous by Mark Twain himself. You can see. If I come out and I'll show you the building itself. Sierra Nevada Adventure Company, the general store. Definitely has a small town feel to it. I'm going to cross over, and I don't know that I'll stick my head in the saloon, but here's some information about the hotel. It opened on August 20th, 1856. It's a historical landmark, a California historical landmark. Here's very nice. Here's some of the guests that stayed here. Mark Twain, Horatio Alger, Thomas Lipton, Henry Ward Beecher, the Rothschilds, General U.S. Grant, and C.E. Bolton. Right in the center square here, you've got a big shamrock. And tonight there is a Ziggy Marley concert going on. I've seen people, it's about a mile up the road, people lining up to go to the Ziggy Marley concert. No shortage of California historical markers.
Gonna do a costume change.
And here is one here. This is the old Fiske Building, one of the pioneer structures in Murphy's, built after the Great Fire of 1859. It's the Fiske Building. All types of little wineries. A lot of nice little wineries here in Murphy's. Yet here's another historical building. This is the old Seagale building. Rebuilt in 1859 as a stone fireproof grocery and provision store. In 1861 was the homestead of J.C. Grain and wife.
Alpha Beta brand tequila in a plastic jug. Did you ever go to No Name Pizza? Right by Alpha Beta? The only place in that town is two spots.
Here's your Irish pub, which I'm sure is probably jumping on at least one night a year, which would be what, March 14th. I'm going want to see what real estate goes for here, you can get a nice 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,800 square foot home for $500,000. Actually looks rather nice. Since the last time I was in California, marijuana has been legalized. And having been back in the state now for the better part of a week, I really haven't seen hide nor hair of any type of a pot shop, so to speak, which I would have thought maybe I'd see a little bit more of, but you don't see that. And here is the Native Sons of the Golden West building. And just up ahead you have a food shack, a food truck. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Budapest. It was back there. Burgers, burritos, nachos, pasta, and sandwiches. Well, that's about the end of the commercial district of Main Street, or so it seems. There's a little winery here called or a tasting room called the Twisted Oak, and I'm familiar with them because they are on a website called Harvest Host. If you're passing through Murphy's and you want to park your camper somewhere, you can do so at their winery just outside of town. They're saying they've got live music on Friday nights from 5 to 8. I hear it somewhere in the back. Might actually be nice to go a street over and maybe walk on one of the residential streets. It's a nice another nice little building. Weather in California is just exceptional. For 6-7 months of the year, you can plan any type of an outdoor event without worry of rain or bad weather. It's just paradise as far as weather goes. Temperatures are always in the upper 70s. Sometimes it reaches into the 90s. But for the most part, it stays pretty nice during the day, and every night it'll cool down. Here you have the tasting room and lawn. We can have a nice glass under some shade. This is one of those towns that you travel around the world, and it just its first impression is a lasting impression. So beautiful. This is Murphy's Professional Offices right here. Those of you outside the country want to see a typical building here. Murphy's Grill, Nelson's Candies. I believe the Gold Rush was here in I think it was 1849. There's Here's another frog.
No, I want to know who said that. Not me.
Not me.
I
I said no one wanted
Yes,
to know
we
what happened.
did.
Who said it?
Both of us did.
No, what did you say?
Very nice little town. There's a nice Victoria Inn just up there. Up there, you see folks sitting out having a nice dinner. I really got to thank Mr. Griffith if he's watching this video, not only for suggesting that I come and visit Murphy's, but that in doing so, I spent some time in nearby Angel Camp, which is just up the road, and they're actually having a farmer's market. And here's a nice little, gonna take a peek back in here. There's the inn that I was just looking at from the other corner. And that is just about Main Street. And just up ahead, if I take a left, it'll take me down to the library.
What do you think?
What a charming little city. Probably about 2.5 hours, I would imagine, from 2.5 hours from Lake Tahoe. An hour and a half or so from the north entrance of Yosemite, and probably a couple hours from the state capital of Sacramento. And I will wrap up the video by bringing you along down to the park here in Murphy's. There's the side of the hotel.
Okay.
All right.
Later. All right.
Where's Tim at? I want to hear. Oh, I know what you
do. See by the sky that it's just a beautiful, beautiful night. And just up here is the Murphy's Pokey, which was a jail, basically a jail built in jest by some people. And I think I was reading that nobody actually stayed in this jail, with the exception of one of the drunkards that helped build it. I think he spent a night in there. But this is Murphy's Pokey. Murphy's Pokey was built around 1915 by Tom Barrow, Frank Cale, Prince Williams, etc.
Is this Algiers Street?
I don't know. Somebody asking me for directions. So just up ahead is the park, and maybe I will jump on my unicycle.
Are you trying to get to which one?
Now riding on my unicycle up here to historic Murphy's Park. You can see they have Nice gazebo. Established 1948. Have a nice river running through the park. And a playground for the kids. There's a nice stream. People doing some rock formations. It's beautiful. And then here would be Murphy's Library, where my dad, traveling with me, he probably would want to find himself here to the library. And if they were selling some books, I'm sure he'd want to buy a book or two. There you see another frog. And that just about completes the tour of Murphy's, California, with the exception of one last stop, which is the Evitts Pass Veterans Memorial here, just a stone's throw from Main Street. Take you for a walk through there. This is foot traffic only, so no unicycle through here. And here is the Veterans Memorial. My dad used to fly the flag every day for God knows how many years. And when you'd ask him why he always goes down, he was flying the flag at a community flagpole. And when you would ask him why he always would fly the flag, he'd always have the same answer. He'd say, for the boys that never came home. And that's what compelled or inspired him to go and raise the flag every day for so many years. Here they have a wall here with different individuals, World War II, United States Army. You can see that. And last but not least, this beautiful sculpture. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed the visit here to Murphy's, California. And have a great day.